news on YourIowa.com is brought to you by the Commission on U.S. Territories, striving for equal representation around the globe, and by Keep Iowa First, committed to keeping the Iowa caucuses the first in the nation contest in selecting the presidency of the United States. And now, here's your host, Brent Roske.
Hello, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is going to be 55 degrees today. Can you believe it? If you're watching this from out of state, you'd think, what, 55, big deal. But here, that's as close to Palm Springs as we're going to get. So go for a walk if you're in Iowa. Up on the screen today, you're about to see that interview. Marissa Vonn's actually an Iowa filmmaker, but she's in Los Angeles now, working on some TV shows and all that sort of thing. We're going to show you that interview right after Britt's Corner. Britt Slater has been on a bunch of times on the show, and we were talking about mom tips and some other stuff. I just said, you know what, Britt, you're always so fun to have on the show. It's going to be your choice from now on. We're just going to have fun with it. So she's going to be on in just a sec. Let's go through just a little bit of news, though, shall we? And, you know, my version of news is pretty light. You know, some people had criticisms of my television show, Roske on Politics. They said it was a little light. I said, well, that's okay. It doesn't always have to be doom and gloom. So up on the screen right now, award show viewers, this little graphic is thanks to Axios Visuals. They put this together. Those lines are not good news for award shows. You know, Lisa Marks and I talked about this a bit on last week's show. Tomorrow on the Hollywood Smash, which is the mini show in a show where Lisa Marks and I talk about Hollywood. We're going to talk about this. Golden Globes ratings. Look at those numbers, folks. That is from 2000 to now. So the last 20 years, these ratings have just been cratering. Academy Awards, you can see they've almost halved themselves in the last 20 years. And, I think that has to, primetime Emmys, I didn't even see that there. Oof, 6.1 million. Yeah, they say, this little, look at my sad little, my little Emmy just wilted. So award shows are down. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to talk all about that and talk about the Golden Globes broadcast themselves, some highlights, but overall questionable show. And what are we looking at here on the screen? I love talking about real estate, especially real estate here in Des Moines. So what are we looking at? That's Roy Halston's boyhood home. Halston, you say, the iconic clothing designer? Why, yes, the iconic clothing designer. You can buy his boyhood home. There it is. Wow, that's interesting. I never realized that. I have to point the wrong way. His boyhood home is for sale here in Des Moines. It is $179,000. It is a 2-bedroom. And he, for instance, Roy Halston designed that. Remember that hat that Jackie Kennedy wore, the pillbox hat, to her husband's inauguration in 1961? He designed that. He designed costumes for people like Liza Minnelli. He also had the Halston line of clothing. A friend of mine's daughter still works for the Halston line of clothing. They were bought and sold and you can buy this through Remax. And yeah. So anyway, Halston's boyhood home. I think that's really neat. I think that's really fun. So without further delay, here she is all the way from the other side of Des Moines, Britt Slater.
Hello. I'm so happy to be on again.
You're doing us a favor. It is my pleasure. And so, yeah, I don't know if you can see Britt, how it shows, but Britt Slater, now it says Britt's Corner.
Oh my God, it does.
It's Britt's Corner. It's like one of those. It's where you go to eBay and you buy like the mystery bag for $100. Now it's Britt's Corner. We just get to chat about, because this is what I've been missing, is just chatting with people. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, people. Oh man. Yeah. How are you doing?
People. Oh man.
Seriously though, we're gonna need to take classes about how to, come back into society. Seriously, socializing is a skill,
Yeah. And so I have one right here. isn't it so much different to have a conversation with someone like that as opposed to like this? Now, folks, I'm a masker. I wear the mask, but I'm not happy about it. I don't think we have to be happy about it to still do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was at Muriel Bowser, mayor of DC. We were at an event this summer. We were outside and all this stuff, and that is prime DC schmoozing. But I'm trying to talk to people like this, and I can't. And I said, boy, this is really difficult. So I said, would you mind standing over there so at least I can, and we'll talk louder so I could see you talk.
Yeah, when I understand that. That sounds fun in the summer. I'm excited for the weather. But every time I go to my grandma's house, she can't hear, right? And so she can just a little bit. But we all have to scream, but she doesn't know what we're saying. We have to take off our masks, We just have to. Can't go around it.
And then that goes against I was at the airport a couple of weeks ago, and I walked through, and you could tell there were two families who bumped into each other. You could tell it was that energy bumped into each other, and they thought it was the right move. And I'm gonna show you what they did. When they talked, they would go like this to talk, and then and I said, and you just you stop, and I was like, I've got to, and then I'm like, you can't.
Yeah, that's
gonna ruin these two families. He's like, that is the moment when you need to be wearing the face mask.
Yeah, bless their heart. They're trying. Do. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me pull down the mask. Then what are you doing it for? Just take it off, please. Or this, I go to a store and people now got the chin cozies. Do you see these? The chin. Oh, my chin was cold, so I'm wearing. This is the dumbest thing in the world. Believe me, it just. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I feel you on that. It's a lot to get used to, and we're I wear it, but I'm not happy when I wear it. And it puts a little bit more stress in your day, but it is what it is. You just got to get it.
Our little one, if we take her walking, we're going to talk a second here about walking in the malls and doing skyway. But what she does is she chews on it. Our little one chews on her mask.
Of course, it's a little piece of fabric hanging in her face.
She chews on it. So it becomes this big thing, and people then don't hassle me because she is wearing it, but it's like it's just a chew toy.
So when did she start? So she's been wearing it the whole time, right? Because how old is she? 3 or something? Or I forget.
About to turn 3.
About to turn 3. Okay. See, Vega's just on that brink. He's not quite there yet, but he will be. So, gotta do it. When do you think? I wonder when we're gonna be really wearing a mask. I guess. In a lot of things, just for a long time,
Well, and that's what it's going to come down to. I know this is a silly thing, and if you're upset about it, send me an email, roske@youriowa.com, and I'll answer for it. But what I see it as, if the virus didn't communicate through the air, then I wouldn't be so alarmed when people don't wear it. But, I used to ride a motorcycle, and I was one of the idiots that didn't wear a helmet. And I was like, well, if I crash, I'm just going to hurt myself, which is true. In this instance, though, the mask, in fact, you're damaging other folks. And it doesn't mean though that 10 people in a tiny room wearing masks, everyone's going to be fine. No, it's not what that means. It just means it lowers the amount of junk you're sending out, because we're just walking petri dishes. That's all we are. I think we lost Britt. Britt, did I lose you? Oh no. Britt, can you hear me? Oh wow, Britt. And just like that, the show came to a screeching halt. We'll see if Britt pops back up here this Friday while we're waiting. This Friday. Peter Gabriel, but you're gonna want to see this episode of the show Friday. Peter Gabriel wrote one of the most iconic songs of the 80s, an anti-apartheid anthem called Biko, about the anti-apartheid activist Stephen Biko. Here he is singing, re-recording the song. It was produced by Sebastian Robertson, who is Sebastian Robertson is actually Robbie Robertson's son. Let me do this. Did I?
I don't know what happened. Am I back? Sorry about that. I have no idea what happened.
That's amazing. Thank you for popping back in. I want to finish. So Friday, folks, the show with Peter Gabriel, producer of his new single. It's the re-release of Biko. Sebastian Robertson is Robbie Robertson's son. He's a worldwide producer. He did the soundtrack for a movie called The Irishman. Maybe you heard about it with De Niro and Scorsese. He's going to be on this Friday, talking about, and I just want to show it one more time. There's Peter Gabriel re-recording Biko. They did it with the Cape Town Singers and Yo-Yo Ma and people from all over the world. Holy buckets. You're going to want to check that out Friday. That was my fill, Britt, when you went away. And I was like, I'll talk about Friday's show.
Thank you. Good job. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Internet problems, I guess. It just went out.
Well, I'm pretty sure that there's probably going to be some negative press about the show or me. And I think I'm going to keep having internet problems because I've been having too, because if I was local media, I'd be like, he's getting lots of folks and people are watching. So there'll be efforts to tamp it down.
Well, that's not true. And I'm not going to let this happen again. We're going to tighten this Britt's corner up.
All right, Britt, you got the steering wheel. What are we talking about?
Well, just something simple today. For the first time in my son's life, took him to the mall yesterday.
Here's a photo.
What? Yeah.
Here's the photo.
There he is. There he is. He kept calling that mannequin, Dada, Dada. So it just shows you how many people he's seen in his life. Thanks to this damn pandemic. But so yeah, and I just wanted to talk about it because it was such a bright experience for me as his mother, because it's just a big open space and he was so happy. In fact, Brent, I can honestly tell you, I have never seen him smile so happy in his life. Like he was just doing this smile that was like, oh my God, a little bit too at the same time, because here we are in this simple place that I remember as a kid. Now I know he is relatively young. He's only 19, 20 months, but still, I just couldn't believe that. Oh my God, I have never gone into a big space with him like that. I've gone to a park with him, but it's not the same because there wasn't many people at the parks that I was at. So, but a big space with people that are acknowledging him, interacting with him. There were like 3 little boys there and he would yell at people, and run up to him and start doing tricks like spinning. I mean, I've never seen him be so happy. And, it was a good experience. And just furthermore, not just him, but I noticed a lot of older people that were sitting, and it really seemed like watching him and his innocence was really the brightness of their day too, and it makes me sad that, these malls, these big buildings that used to be so full of social life and stuff, even though they were, the purpose of them is to go and buy something. Another purpose, and an unsaid purpose, is to go and hang out. And it looks bleak, the future of malls, and Amazon is taking over. The stores like Target, and I've been doing a little research. Stores like Target and Walmart, they're doing fairly well because they're essential. They're essential. You need things from there, so they're always going to have a place as far as in-person buying. But malls are. I think 50% of all malls have filed for bankruptcy across the United States. Yeah, and department stores. So.
I love the mall is very special to me. When I was 15 years old, I was a mall Santa Claus.
You were not. That is amazing. I always wonder where those people were. 15.
And I was a bony little kid. I mean, I've always been a scrawny chap, but I was even more so then. And I had, the stupid belly thing and the beard. I was 15 years old.
Oh, they put a belly on you?
What's that?
They put a belly on you?
Well, the part of the costume actually is the belly,
Well, were there older men in the town that were a little jealous or angry that you got this job?
Good point. I never thought of it that way. I was just, and I'll never forget, it was a group of football players. This is a true story. A group of football players walked by and we didn't have anybody right now, accosting Santa. It's a tough job. I give a lot of
Yeah.
props to Santas, but a group of football players walked by from the school, and I said, "Andre, have you been a good boy this year?" That's true. It's a true story. And they were far enough away, and he just stopped and turned, and they kind of looked at each other and walked away like, "Oh, I must know the Santa." But yeah, I was Santa at the mall. You're talking about socialization. You're talking about people. You're talking about communication. All of this is the same conversation, which is, people need people. We need human beings to get. That's what we've been accustomed to. So it is so sad. Valley West Mall here. I was there just a couple weeks ago, and we go mall walking. And because our little one, she's a little behind her timeline as far as walking and talking. So we go in there and we take hands and we go step at a time and all that, because we can't go outside. We're used to California where you can just go outside 12 months a year. So the mall space, you're right. If there's not commerce there, they're going to start changing.
So you guys are already in the mix. Yeah, you guys have been mall walking. I just hadn't done that. It's so nice. And we did it again too. I've been there a couple times now. So yeah, I was reading that like drone delivery is going to take place in the next decade. And also drone delivery, like drones will fly to your door and deliver things light. And then also augmented reality. So like when you want to buy a couch, God, the sun is really intense, isn't it?
It's a good problem to have. We're not used to having sun come in, so you had no idea. You probably don't even have curtains on the window.
This is incredible. I feel like I'm being taken away. This is amazing. All right. So, but then the next thing is augmented reality, which is like if you want to buy a couch, you don't know if it fits in your apartment. They measure it for you. You can already kind of do that on your iPhone. But I was thinking about clothes too, maybe. I don't know. Lots of interesting stuff. But we're all going to just get fat and sit on our couches like we all have been.
My friend Jordan Belfi played Adam Davies on Entourage. He was also in a movie with Bruce Willis, and it was called, I forget what it was called, but they were clones, right? And it was all the pretty people, and come to find out that everyone's just laying at home, and they've got, you know that one?
Yeah. What is that? It's I've seen that. It's like one word.
Clone or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Jordan is the sales guy. Because Jordan's he's an attractive chap, so that's he was a perfect LA agent now in this thing. But you'll see him in the movie. He's one of the lead roles in it, and he goes, "Hey, you got to go see my movie. We were out on the sailboat. He's telling me all about it, da da da." And I watched his movie. I said, "Hey, man, that's really kind of a sad movie because you could see. I mean, it's kind of the way it's happening right now. You and I are deciding to present ourselves on the internet in this digital version that we're pretty sure is actually me sitting here, but it could be."
Yeah. Oh no.
Do something else. But we're all projecting, especially now in coronavirus, we're projecting our digital selves out into the world to meet with people. And again, that's a huge reason I made this show is to at least have some sort of connection with folks.
Yeah. And it's awesome too. I mean, this show is enjoyable. I love it. We're not going to get rated bad ratings or whatever you were saying. But
it's awesome.
This is nice.
It's interesting. So this is you're the second guest now to have Sun come in during an interview. Now, folks, I don't want to talk. So the weather is one of the reasons that real estate is affordable here. It's one of the reasons that people say I couldn't move back to the Midwest. It's a big deal. I sit next to a window. There's a window right here. So every morning now I've been able to see the sun come up. The sun's actually coming up there, but I can see it on the trees. And the whole first month I did the show, I'd look out the window because I wasn't used to having this early hours. It was just black.
Yeah. I'm not used to this either. So that's great. But I didn't know that you liked real estate. That's awesome. I love real estate. Darrett's actually technically a realtor in California. My husband, Darrett. So
is he really? He has his license?
Yeah, he went ahead and got his license because he works for a broker. He does loans and stuff, and it just is. It makes sense he'll get his clients' homes on the side and stuff like that. So it's really cool. But we've been loving some Zillow lately. We're going to buy a house here in Des Moines soon. So
buy Roy Halston's house. It's right there.
I was thinking about that. I was like, I looked up Roy Halston really fast. I've heard of the name, but I wasn't familiar. But yes, that's amazing. I love little things like that.
You'd have an iconic designer's house. The writer of the Axios article is trying to buy it too, so you better jump on it.
Oh, they probably have.
but it's so I bought when I first moved to Iowa, I bought a house that was built in 1870.
Wow.
The house
Whoa, that's really
Yeah, Civil War. A few years later, the house was built. My house was built the same year the Iowa Capitol was built, and you could see there was just a field between my house and the Capitol. So they watched it get built, and I had an amazing view of the Capitol and the judicial branch building. And I would rent it to legislators. That's why I bought it for. And I flew in. Yeah, I rented it to 2 state senators and a state rep. But Richard Dreyfuss came to the house, and Governor Bobby Jindal came to the house, and Senator Tom Harkin came to the house.
That's awesome.
And I rebuilt it. I mean, I really just kind of fixed it up a little bit and then sold it. But yeah, we own a couple acres in California still.
Okay, that's awesome. That's where at in California?
I had some in Joshua Tree, but this is not in Joshua Tree. This is up in California City, which I'm going to be talking about this some more. So Southern California Public Radio did a whole thing on California City talking bad about land developers out there and all that, because there have been some shady folks out there. The really unfortunate part, and I believe it's libelous, is that they've been saying California City property is this, that, and the other thing, when in fact it was this one group doing, bad things. Look, in the real estate world, there are people that inflate prices all the time. It's not, this isn't new news, but they ganged up on California City. But I like it out there. I don't know it as well. So I know Joshua Tree well, and I had a couple different parcels out there. So I would talk about that all the time, but I do have property in California City, but I'm not necessarily, I don't love it or not love it yet. So I just want that little caveat to be shown.
That's cool. I've never been to California City before. That's cool. I hope to retire in Mendocino, California. It's famous for the Murder, She Wrote with Angela Lansbury. They filmed, even though it was supposed to be Cabot Cove and on the New England coast, it was really filmed in Mendocino. So it's so beautiful. Cliffs and prettiness.
Where is it? Is it up by Carmel?
North. Yeah. Well, I'm not really sure. Well, it's just north of San Francisco. That's what I know. I'm forgetting where Carmel by the Sea is. I forget. Where is that at again?
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. Murder, She Wrote. Gary Kroger was on this show, former SNL cast member, was on Murder, She Wrote, and my friend Chuck Bowman directed and wrote a whole bunch of Murder, She Wrotes.
I saw Gary. I was researching Gary, and I saw that he was on that. I remember him in the episodes. Oh, what a joy! That show puts me to sleep at night. I should have watched that last night.
All right, so Britt's Corner. Finally, there's the photo of the mall again.
Aww, thanks. So cute.
So what's up next week?
Next week? Oh man. Oh. The Jordan House. I wanted to touch on that. If you want, it's it has a lot to do with where I live, Valley Junction. I pass by it all the time. This Jimmy Jordan was a pretty staunch abolitionist for his day, and I just think he's an interesting man. We don't always know those older white men back then, but according to the history books, he seems like a pretty decent fellow. So it's not Black History Month, but I think every month should be Black History Month from now on. So
I think 2021 should be Black History Year.
So
100 years ago we had the Tulsa race massacre. It was Black Wall Street. A bunch of angry white folks burned it down to the ground and killed hundreds, possibly thousands of people. People say, "Why do we talk about Black history so much?" And I'm like, you don't know. I said, tell me about the Tulsa, the burning down of Black Wall Street. And they just look at me. I said, that's why we're talking about this.
Yeah. So anyway, we don't know 99% of Black history really, and the ones that the history we know is sometimes it's not real. It's not really, it's from a perspective of a white person, which maybe isn't really the truth, But
sanitized, 100%.
Yeah.
Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Come back with Marissa Vonn, Iowa filmmaker, now in California. But Britt, thanks so much for being on today.
Thanks, Brent. I always love being here. Thank you so much. Fun to talk to you.
We'll see you again for Britt's Corner, folks. We'll be right back.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the program. One of the best parts about moving to Iowa has been meeting artists. People don't necessarily think about the Midwest as being a place where people create good works. And I've always said Des Moines is ready to be the next Austin. Iowa has infrastructure, we have funding, we have parking available, and Iowa. You've also got a local community here that loves to support artists, and there's big, beautiful houses to use and all that sort of thing. One of the folks who was taking amazing advantage of that is Marissa Vonn, writer, director. She's with us today. Marissa, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So you are from Ottumwa, Iowa. You're currently, I think you're in California right now, though, huh?
Yeah, I am originally from Ottumwa. I'm currently in Los Angeles, so I still have some sun.
And so, why don't you give folks an idea? I mean, you've made several short films right now. I just watched Domicile. It's fantastic. Bruce Bales was the DP on that. There's a picture of you guys in action there.
Oh my gosh, I love that photo.
But tell folks about, you're growing up in Iowa. What led you to say, you know what, I'm gonna write, I'm gonna direct. Let's get something going here in Iowa.
Well, to be fair, I didn't start wanting to write and direct. I thought I wanted to make music videos, and then I learned that there's not a huge career in that. So I got out of Iowa just about as quick as I could and went down to Florida to go to film school, and that's kind of where I discovered that narrative is really what I wanted to do. And then I've lived everywhere, but I just keep going back to Iowa to make movies because it has the best resources, the best locations, and it's just, it's got the best people.
I just had this conversation with a friend of mine. Music videos, we refer to music videos as the circus. Oh, you did 2 days in the circus. It's nutty. The project always sounds great until you get into the project and they want this, but they're paying this. And so, I think
so accurate.
So I watched Domicile, which it speaks to the pandemic so much to me. I obviously watched it recently, and what it talks to is the importance of where you live and creating, how a person ends up becoming a bit of their surroundings and what that means to them and how important it is. Why don't you talk to me about the inspiration behind that and what the movie means to you?
So the script for Domicile was actually written by John Hennessy Baker. I'm so used to calling him JB that I just almost called him JB. He wrote this really amazing, nuanced script, and he sent it to me just kind of, for feedback. And I read it and I was like, I love this. I really love this. Weird timing on when he sent it to me. I had like a weird house thing happen, and I was like, this feels very real. So I like this a lot. And then it all just kind of fell into place and we made it. Like you said, it's really about how people kind of become the places where they live. And for Mia in that film, which is Addie Bass, who's from Iowa City originally, they're also out in LA now. Mia is trying to find themselves and who they are. And part of that is finding a home. Yeah. And I think they find themselves more at the end when they end up in that house.
Yeah. It's really I love the pacing of it. People might say that has a European pacing, which to me means that you're not so worried about I got to edit in case someone, it takes its time. It's a nice film. It's well shot. And I thought the directing was just it was a very calm and steady hand that you brought to that. So I really enjoyed watching that. Where did you film that? And what type of, to get into some of the nitty gritty, how long was your prep? How long was your shoot?
So we filmed that in Des Moines, specifically in the Beaverdale neighborhood.
Oh, sure.
Which is I think 42nd Street. Let's see, we started prep probably in September of 2019. The script went through a few revisions, and then we did 4. Oh my gosh, it feels like 100 years ago. 2020 was so long. We did 4 days of filming. We did. Yeah, 4 sounds right. 4 days of filming, 8 to 10 hours each day. And then I think we had our rough cut within a couple weeks. And then right when we were ready to start sending to festivals, the pandemic hit and everything was either canceled, postponed, online. But we were still able we had a drive-in screening with the Des Moines Underground Film Festival, which was awesome. And then I think we screened in person for film streams in Omaha. And that's all the theater screen time it got. And then we decided we're like, it's time, we need to put it online. So that's
talk to us about the drive-in screening. Where was that at, and what were the logistics behind that?
I didn't actually get to go, but it was Des Moines Underground Film Festival put it on. I can't remember exactly when or where. Again, last year is a blur, but they projected all the films up onto the side of like a blank building. And had the audio through an FM channel. All the pictures I got to see were awesome. I'm really jealous that I didn't get to go. This program exists for exactly that reason, which is, human beings are trying to figure out creative ways to connect, make a living doing so. And I'm grateful to you and all the other folks that have been so kind with your time to come on this program and talk about this. So you're growing up in Ottumwa. Did you get any pushback when you said to friends, family, loved ones, I'm going to be an artist, I'm going to be a filmmaker? What sort of reactions did you get coming from Iowa? I think for my dad, it was expected. I don't think he ever expected me to do something like normal per se. He's a contractor, so he knew I wasn't going into the family business. I'm not going to build a house. It's not really my thing. Though I ended up working in like home reno TV, so I think that was a nice full circle moment. I wouldn't say there was necessarily a lot of pushback, more a lot of questions about, well, how are you going to make money? Where are you going to live? Like, I think people were kind of, oh, you're going to leave Iowa then, which, sometimes you have to. But like my family was supportive. My friends were very alarmed because they, I go from being like, I want to be a label scout for music, which I don't think that's even a real job. I think that's like an intern's job. I'm going to go to school, which did not track for me to go to college, but I did it anyway, and make movies. That was a surprise for them. But they're all supportive now, which is great.
So what you are doing, Britt Slater is an actress who just moved back from California. She was out there for 6 years. Her and her husband and little one have moved back. And we talked about her transition back. What is your transition to Los Angeles been? What do you like out there? What don't you like out there?
I like the weather. There's no snow. The transition, I kind of lived everywhere. So most of, 2019's gone. Most of 2019, I actually lived up in the Bay Area, working on a show for Disney Plus, which was fun. I had lived there in the past, and that was kind of weirdly an easier transition because it's smaller, because I was living East Bay. So it's smaller. It's not as just sprawling as Los Angeles is. Sure. But the weather's great, and I've been able to do some awesome shows while I'm out here. And it's been, the pandemic's happening, so it's a lot of sit in my home, admire the palm trees through the window, that kind of stuff. But it's been a good base, and I've still been able to stay in touch with everybody in Iowa that I'm used to working with.
What part of town are you in?
I'm in Pico Robertson.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I used to live 7 blocks from there. I used to live right by Kings Road Cafe. I had a condo over there.
That's awesome. I just drove by there the other day.
Yeah, I lived half a block from Kings Road, and I had a sailboat in Marina Del Rey, so I'd drive through your neighborhood at least once a week, if not twice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, miss it, but definitely, Iowa, it provides things that LA just didn't for me. So, we all have to make our path in life. So you're going to be out there for the foreseeable future? Are you going back and forth, or what's the plan?
I think for the foreseeable future, I'll be out here. I make my money doing reality TV. So most of the offices are like in Santa Monica, which is super close to here. I want to transition into scripted. It's a weird jump to make because people don't see the skills as translating as much as they do. So most likely I'll still be coming back to Iowa to make all my scripted stuff until something gives way.
As reality, I'm in Producers Guild, and we just all got the letter saying shut down. But is reality shut down right now as well?
Not necessarily. They're skirting it as much as they can. I'm not currently on a show, but I just came off a show early December, and we were still on the road. Yeah. So they're getting around it, and I think the pandemic is teaching people that a lot of reality positions even can work from home. Like, story producers, segment producers, we can all work from home.
Interesting.
which is interesting. Not the field folks, obviously, but a lot of us who are like crafting the stories and post can all just work in our homes.
So when I was in Los Angeles for 17 years, I moved out there in 1999, which is a million years ago. And I remember when I first got out there, it just always seemed to come up. They'd say, "Oh, where are you from?" I'd say, "Oh, I'm from Minnesota." And my wife is from Iowa. That's what brought me here in politics.
Oh, nice.
But have you come across that where people react if we say, "Oh, you're from Iowa"? What sort of reactions are you getting?
It's so strange. The first like long-term job I got in Los Angeles was because I'm from Iowa. I was like on the phone with this EP talking, and he was like, "I hear Midwest in your accent. Where are you from?" I was like, "Iowa." And then when he ended up hiring me, he's like, "We know Midwestern people have a good work ethic, so you're in." I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'll just keep using that." And there's always connections. Like, I swear on every show I've been on, I run into somebody that's from Iowa or like the Midwest in general. We all bond immediately, which is cool.
I used to, I was a guest lecturer at UCLA, and I would write what I'd say, hard work, hard cash, or friends and family. I'd say those are the three paths into show business. And
Yeah.
hard work, I say, if you're from the Midwest, you come from the Midwest because they'll think that you're going to show up and you're going to do the job. Most people think, certainly there is an element of magic and mystery to going to Hollywood, but at the end of the day, you've got to be a good worker. You got to be the first on set and be okay with being the last one on set and work harder than the next person. And so it sounds like you're doing great out there. And Domicile, I really enjoyed. We're going to show just a quick clip of it. And then what's next on your creative wish list? If you say, well, this is the project I'd like to go forward with, what sort of things are you working on?
I just wrapped another short in Iowa back like the week before Christmas. It's called Next of Kin. Okay. And it's similar to Domicile tone-wise. It's kind of a cerebral drama thriller. And we just did our assembly cut and we have our first notes meeting tomorrow. So pushing that one forward, hoping for some in-person fest this year, but we'll see. And then next up, I'm actually working on a sci-fi for an anthology series. So an 8 to 10 minute sci-fi film.
Excellent.
Which, pandemic willing.
Yeah. I was on the team of a sci-fi shark film in Puerto Rico, and that's a whole nother story.
What?
Yeah, no, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, but it's been Marissa Vonn is an Iowa born and bred filmmaker. She's in Los Angeles. Thank you so much for being on the program, Marissa. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to show you just a couple minutes of her short film, Domicile. Don't go anywhere.
School of Rock is now in session in Iowa, and we're ready to help make musicians. In our patented performance-based program, students learn music in one-on-one lessons, then have band practice in a fun, safe learning environment, all leading up to their big show. Guitar, bass, piano, drums, and vocals, our local professionals teach the skills you need to be a rock star. Come check us out and get a free lesson with no strings attached. Locations in West Des Moines and Marion. Visit schoolofrock.com to learn more and start your musical journey today.
Beautiful little starter home.
Yeah, it is. I love a good bungalow.
Is your husband meeting you here?
No, it's just me.
Oh, I'm sorry. This property is for sale.
I know.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Help yourself to a glass of wine. Yes, there's plenty of food here. You have one of my business cards. And let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Diana's email just came through. She sent along her notes.
Another round of edits?
Yeah, she's wanting to see it in black and white. She's also asking about photoshopping out a rag that she doesn't like in some of the photos.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
How'd the open house go yesterday?
Good. It went good.
Was it cute? Was it adorable?
It was cute.
Had a fenced-in yard. I wouldn't even look at a house without a fence. Gracie is very particular about where she'll go. She needs a big yard.
I just want a place that's my own. Who's that?
Ooh, that's Andrea. She's the new project manager. We met this morning. Single, no kids. She's living in Sherman Hill. Megan told me she's a smoker.
Thanks again, Rhonda. This has literally never happened to me.
It's okay, honey. If I had a nickel for it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll turn up somewhere.
Yeah, well, I'm down on 113 if you need me.
Right,
Okay?
Thanks again. Have a good night.
You too, hon. I know you're awake.
Mia, I can't believe you're still staying in that apartment. I'd never step foot in that building again. How can you sleep there? What are you gonna do? Have you contacted the police? Mia!
No.
Why? Even if he didn't take anything, that is so creepy. What was he doing? All right, let's go to bed. Come on. You're in bed.
Folks, thanks so much for watching our program today. We did have a couple technical issues if you're watching. So if you're watching the live version of this, I apologize for that, but I'll be fixing that for the archived version. Huge thanks to Marissa Vonn with her amazing film there, Domicile, and just my best wishes to her and her artistic pursuits. And of course, Britt Slater and Britt's Corner. That type of just chit chat is important to me. I hope you enjoy it as well. And if you have suggestions, just let me know right there. Roske@youriowa.com. And again, this Friday, there he is, Peter Gabriel, re-recording his smash hit Biko, the producer that Sebastian Robertson will be on this program this Friday. You're going to want to check that out. Until then, thanks so much for tuning in. Tomorrow, Lisa Marks with Hollywood Smash and some other great guests as well tomorrow. So be sure to tune into that, 7 o'clock. We'll see you right back here, same place. We'll see you then.